Picture this. Queen, one of the most iconic rock bands of all time, dominating arenas with their electrifying performances and larger-than-life presence. They seemed like a united front, a perfect blend of talent and personality. But beneath the dazzling facade lay a stormy undercurrent, a clash of egos and temperaments that threatened to tear the band apart. Today, Brian May finally breaks his silence, shedding light on the darker side of Roger Taylor, the fiery drummer, whose ego and unpredictable nature often left chaos in his wake. Think of this. A meticulous guitarist and a rebellious drummer, both determined to leave their mark on Queen's legacy. From the start, May and Taylor were polar opposites. May was the scientist, the perfectionist, carefully crafting every riff and harmony. Taylor was the wild card, driven by instinct and raw energy. Together, their differences created magic on stage, but behind closed doors, those same differences often sparked explosive tensions. In the studio, their contrasting styles often led to creative standoffs. May's pursuit of precision clashed with Taylor's more impulsive approach. Rehearsals, meant to be collaborative, frequently devolved into heated arguments, with May insisting on structure while Taylor pushed for spontaneity. These tensions were especially apparent during the recording of albums like A Night at the Opera and The Works, where their visions for the band's sound often diverged. May found himself frustrated by Taylor's stubbornness, while Taylor felt stifled by May's exacting standards. Roger Taylor was never one to shy away from the spotlight. His charisma and confidence made him a fan favorite, but his ego often caused friction within the band. Taylor's need to assert his dominance sometimes overshadowed the collaborative spirit of Queen. For May, this was a constant source of tension. While May focused on the bigger picture, Taylor's personal ambitions occasionally took center stage, creating a divide that was difficult to bridge. Taylor's ego also extended beyond the band. In interviews, his blunt demeanor and unapologetic attitude often rubbed people the wrong way. He had a tendency to dismiss criticism and assert his opinions forcefully, leaving little room for compromise. This attitude, while part of his charm, also alienated some of his closest allies, including May. Roger Taylor's fiery personality wasn't confined to his clashes with Brian May. It rippled through the entire band, creating moments of tension that would leave an indelible mark on Queen's legacy. His relationship with Freddie Mercury, perhaps the band's most magnetic force, was a volatile mixture of admiration and confrontation. Both men shared a love of theatrics and an unyielding passion for music, but their visions for the band often clashed in dramatic fashion. Mercury, ever the visionary, sought to push the boundaries of Queen's sound, experimenting with genres and styles that defied convention. Taylor, however, held steadfast to his rock roots, viewing some of Mercury's ideas as overly indulgent and disconnected from their core identity. Their disagreements often erupted during recording sessions. Picture this: Taylor, seated behind his drum kit, his frustration mounting as Mercury proposed yet another departure from their established sound. While Mercury viewed experimentation as essential to their evolution, Taylor felt it risked alienating their loyal fan base. Their arguments, though passionate, were never truly personal. They were battles of ambition, clashes of creativity that mirrored the duality of Queen itself. For Taylor, these confrontations weren't just about music, they were about preserving the spirit of a band that had built its reputation on electrifying rock anthems. But if Taylor's dynamic with Mercury was explosive yet rooted in mutual respect, his relationship with John Deacon was something else different. Deacon, the band's quiet and contemplative bassist, operated in stark contrast to Taylor's bold and often brash demeanor. Where Taylor thrived on instinct and intensity, Deacon relied on precision and careful deliberation. This difference in approach became a frequent source of tension, especially as the band's fame grew and the stakes became higher with every new project. Taylor's relentless energy often overwhelmed Deacon, who preferred a calmer and more measured environment. Imagine a scene where Taylor's enthusiasm for a high-energy, adrenaline-fueled track clashed with Deacon's insistence on a more subdued, groove-driven composition. These moments weren't just disagreements, they were fundamental mismatches in personality and artistic philosophy. For Deacon, Taylor's intensity felt like a hurricane, unpredictable and all-consuming. For Taylor, Deacon's reserve could feel like a brake on his unrelenting drive, a frustrating counterweight to his fiery momentum. As the years went on, these tensions only deepened. During the later stages of Queen's career, when the pressures of maintaining their global dominance weighed heavily on the band, the divide between Taylor and his bandmates became even more pronounced. Taylor's outspoken nature often led to conflicts during decision-making processes, where his insistence on bold, sometimes risky choices clashed with the more cautious approaches of Deacon and May. The resulting atmosphere was one of simmering unease, a delicate balance between collaboration and conflict that could tip at any moment. These internal struggles, while draining, also fueled Queen's unique sound. The tension between Taylor's raw energy, Mercury's flamboyant innovation, Deacon's steady pragmatism, and May's calculated precision created a musical alchemy that was both powerful and fragile. Yet, behind the iconic anthems and sold-out stadiums, the strain of these conflicts left scars that even the passage of time could never fully heal. Outside the band, Taylor's relationships were equally tumultuous. His personal life was marked by a series of high-profile affairs and rocky romances, many of which played out under the unforgiving glare of the media. Taylor's penchant for living life on his own terms often came at a cost. His relationships, both personal and professional, were frequently tested by his unpredictable behavior and unwillingness to compromise. One of the most notable examples was Taylor's strained relationship with the media. Critics often accused him of being difficult and uncooperative during interviews. Taylor, known for his quick temper, didn't hesitate to fire back, creating a love-hate relationship with the press. While his candidness made for compelling headlines, it also painted him as a divisive figure, further fueling tensions within and outside the band. Roger Taylor's turbulent relationships outside Queen were a reflection of the storm that often raged within him. His personal life, while glamorous on the surface, was marked by upheaval and unrest. His series of high-profile affairs and rocky romances played out in the full glare of public scrutiny, painting a picture of a man who thrived on intensity but struggled to maintain stability. Picture this Taylor, charming and enigmatic, at the center of attention, yet leaving a trail of broken hearts and strained ties in his wake. For those who loved him, his passion was magnetic, but his unpredictable nature made him difficult to hold onto. These romantic entanglements often collided with his public persona, creating a whirlwind of drama that the media eagerly fed upon. Taylor's inability or perhaps unwillingness to compromise in his relationships mirrored his professional demeanor. His partners often found themselves competing not only with his career but with his larger-than-life personality, which demanded center stage in every aspect of his life. The result was a string of relationships that burned brightly but rarely endured, leaving behind a legacy of both passion and pain. Taylor's strained relationship with the media added another layer of tension to his life. He had little patience for criticism, particularly when it came to his artistic vision or personal choices. Critics often accused him of being uncooperative during interviews, labeling him as combative and aloof. But Taylor, never one to shy away from confrontation, fired back with biting honesty that simultaneously captivated and alienated. His quick temper and refusal to bow to media expectations made for compelling headlines, but they also painted him as a divisive figure. Imagine the scene's journalists attempting to navigate his sharp wit and refusal to sugarcoat his words, only to find themselves on the receiving end of his fiery temperament. To some, Taylor's candidness was refreshing, a rare glimpse of authenticity in an industry often cloaked in PR polish. To others, it was a sign of arrogance, a man unwilling to play by the rules. These interactions left Taylor with a love-hate relationship with the press. While his bluntness kept him in the headlines, it also fueled the narrative of him as a difficult and unpredictable personality. Roger Taylor's stormy nature wasn't confined to his professional life. His family life, though shielded from the public eye, wasn't without its challenges. The pressures of fame and the demands of being in a global rock band took their toll on his personal relationships. Taylor's frequent absences, combined with his penchant for indulgence, created strain at home. Balancing the chaos of life on the road with the responsibilities of family proved to be a constant battle, one that often left him feeling torn and conflicted. Despite his flaws, Taylor's contributions to Queen were undeniable. His energy and passion were integral to the band's sound and success. But as May reveals, the cost of Taylor's larger-than-life persona was significant. The conflicts he created, both within the band and beyond, often threatened to overshadow their achievements. For May, reflecting on these years is bittersweet, a reminder of both the brilliance and the chaos that defined their journey together. Brian May and Roger Taylor's story is one of contrasts: May's meticulous intellect versus Taylor's raw instinct, precision clashing with passion. Their creative tension became the foundation of Queen's legendary music, driving the band to unparalleled success, but not without conflict. May, the methodical guitarist, crafted every detail with precision, while Taylor, fiery and instinctual, channeled raw energy. Their differences often boiled over in the studio, creating a tug-of-war that both elevated their music and strained their relationship. Tracks like Bohemian Rhapsody and We Will Rock You are testaments to this dynamic, blending grandeur with grit. Behind Queen's larger-than-life image were struggles for artistic control and personal clashes. May's reserved nature often clashed with Taylor's bold temperament, reflecting their differing approaches to collaboration. These tensions, while difficult, were also the spark that made Queen's music unforgettable. The legacy of May and Taylor isn't just one of conflict, it's a story of resilience. Their ability to embrace their differences forged a sound that transcended boundaries, leaving behind a legacy built on both harmony and discord.